It's the 3rd of January 2024 in New Zealand, and the veggie gardens are looking quite good. So I thought it was worth a video. For us up here, where we are, this is probably, we're 1 month into what you would call summer, and things are rocketing away now. At the front here, we've got some flowers, of all things, but my wife thought they would look quite good. There's used to be 6, now 5 king asters. This one here, a rabbit nibbled on it overnight, pulled the leaves off just to see what it was like. Why I hate rabbits. Bells of Ireland, no idea what they look like over there. Over here, we've got 3 types of basil. This one's lime basil, and this is Thai basil, and all that line along there is basil genovese, and it's also basil is dug up by rabbits overnight. I cannot believe them sometimes. This line here is ordinary beetroots, and they're starting to come up over here, you can see. Over here we've got a little row of radishes. I don't plant too many of those because they go dodgy, difficult to eat after a short time, so I'll plant some more. This row here is mini beetroots, as is that row over there. Lost some here, don't know why, probably rabbits again. And these are mini beetroots too. They were planted from different stages, different ways. These are sweet 100 tomatoes. I'll produce a whole bunch of little tomatoes, and I've planted some basil underneath them, supposedly to protect them from whitefly. Got flowers already, so they're looking quite good. These are the tomato crop. A lot of different tomatoes here, all raised from seed by my wife. Some basil in amongst them. From the thick stemmed one, I think they're Russian Reds. Don't know what the other ones are. Good. This is a crop of garlic, which is pretty much a failure, I think. Just got rust, although I sprayed it about 5 times. Just failed to thrive. This row along here is some kale, some of which have been munched on by rabbits as well too. There's a hole over there, created by rabbits. And here we have leeks, a whole bunch of leeks, which will be 6 months or more before they produce, and some red onions along this row. And some more of the sweet 100 tomatoes. My wife grew those. And these are some grafted tomatoes that I bought. I've forgotten their names, although there's a tag underneath. And some basils here, and some flowers too. This is just wasteland here. I'll just pause for a moment and go and replant those things the rabbit dug up. I replanted a couple of them, but a couple they've nibbled the roots off, so they got no future. Why I hate rabbits. Look at my dog over there, just rolling around on the ground. I watched him look at a rabbit this morning. I had heaps of spring onions my wife raised, so I just threw them in here. They're running up to the leeks. Sorry, my shadow. These tomatoes are having 2 thick stems. We're probably going to let them do that. They seem to want to do that. This bunch of beauties here are my potatoes. They've only been in the ground for 2 months. And, well, they love it here. They just go crazy. I've mounded it up once. And I've got about 5 different types of potato. Cliff's Kidney, Agria, Desiree. Now, these are probably a different name overseas, so it's really hard to say, but they're some are small and tasty, others are big, roasting potatoes. They're fantastic. Well, I hope they're fantastic. Hope we get a good crop. In this plastic container here, I've got 6 capsicums which are growing really well. They like really hot conditions, which is not what we've got here. So this little microclimate here should be good for them, and they're growing very strongly in here. So it's warm and not windy, perfect for them. In this raised box, my shadow all over it. Got lettuces of different type, all raised by my wife. And a whole bunch of wild chives. Might make some cheese and chive and bacon muffins soon. I built this hoop garden for cucumbers based on my wife's design and request. And the cucumbers of about 3 different types are growing in there very strongly. Very strongly. And I put some more spring onions down the middle because I had heaps of them. My wife raised all of this from seeds. She's getting really good at that. I put the corn in. Got some damage, probably by rabbits, but it's going okay. These are zucchinis, and they're flowering well. I think that one over there is a pumpkin by mistake, so I might have to take that out. And there are 3 buckets of potatoes, just to see what sort of crop we can get in buckets versus in the ground. These things here are perpetual spring onions. So you just keep pulling them off and eating them. Very good way to grow spring onions. Look at my little garden over there. It looks so sweet. Everything all in a row. Very unlike me. I've made sure that there's a good spread between the rows too. I've been guilty in the past of putting the rows too close. If you haven't got enough room, get more garden. Don't jam them up. It's so hard to walk through and to water in there. This is a walled garden to keep rabbits out. And it does that pretty well, actually. Over there is our strawberry patch. So strawberries have to be protected from rabbits inside here, but also from birds from above. So I made this cage. All works very well, actually. So we collect strawberries every 3 or 4 days, and it goes on for months. It's very good. Here, I've got some peas. Rabbits would have them, but a very poor sprouting rate. So, a bit sad about that. These cabbages are going well, but they're quite old. These are all seedlings of kale and cabbages and cauliflowers, etc. My wife raised those, I planted them. This cabbage is gone. It's shooting out the top. It'll go into the chickens. Some more, I think cauliflowers or cabbages, not really sure. This is a bit of a wasteland over here. I'll need to recover it. Pull out the weeds and prepare the ground for carrots and parsnips, both of which we like. And we're going to try harder with them this year. Try harder means harvesting at the right time. Don't leave them in the ground or they go bitter. Don't know how many times we have to learn that. You can probably see over there flowers right through the strawberries, little white flowers. It's very rewarding to duck in there and get strawberries. There's the dog. Now he's been escaping over here through this fence, and I found him on the road a couple of times. The road's just over here behind this flax. He's got a death wish. He's annoying. Okay, so I've got 8 pumpkins here, all in this area of their own because they spread out over a big area. There's 2 in each patch here, and they're growing quite well. They've been in the ground for about 5 or 6 weeks. We've still got 3 months of warm weather, so they should produce pumpkins. Sometimes it's a bit dodgy, but that's all dependent on having good weather right through summer and into autumn, and that we water them often enough. They need a lot of water. This area, whole area here, was the chicken run for a while, to 9 months ago. So I'm presuming this ground here is very fertile with the chicken poops, and that the pumpkins will love that. This here is one of the growing tips, and they shoot out for 5, 6, 7, 8 meters with flowers along them. There's a flower there. Supposed to be able to tell the difference between male and female things, but I haven't got my head around that. Anyway, they're growing quite well, and it's funny how rabbits just don't like some things, and they love other things. They just don't touch these. They're not interested in them. They're not interested in tomatoes or potatoes or things like that, which is probably just as well. This stuff in here is borage. I've got some in the garden over there. It's bloody annoying because it keeps coming up, and my wife keeps going, oh, it's wonderful, it brings potassium up. Well, all I see is it smothers the garden. We'll see. It's okay here anyway. That area over there is just a wasteland of green crop. We had beans in there previous year. We're pretty bad at catching and eating beans, so we just let it go this year. The barrel here is water, so you can see the tap there, and we've got reticulated water here. We find it's a lot easier for specific watering to fill the barrel up and then use the watering cans to take it over to what we want to water. We don't do a lot of sprinkling, although if it stays really hot, we might have to do that. But bucketing out water from the barrel is a really handy way of directly watering into certain spots. Look at that dog. I'm trying to teach him about what's grass and what's garden. He's not getting that. He just wanders through the garden. He's not as bad as rabbits, but just about as stupid. Sorry, puppy. I didn't mean that. Zucchini. Some people know them as marrow. There's a nice one forming there. But they can get up to a foot long, 300, 400 millimeters, and really fat. Not the greatest fan of them, to be honest with you, but my wife thinks they're good. And some dishes are okay. Nice flowers. Supposedly you can eat them too. And there's the yellow ones over there. Got yellow marrow, zucchini, and green ones. And that pumpkin is a pumpkin, and it's going right under there. So I don't think it's a good spot for pumpkin. We'll see. Look at those tomatoes over there. heading for the sky. Looking good so far. The green things in the background over here and along over there are all raspberries, autumn raspberries. So, let's see. These are raspberries starting to form. This whole bed is ivory, sort of a white, light yellow raspberry. And they seem to do well here. Some of the red ones have not done so well here. Not sure why. And there was a fully formed one here last night, but it's gone. I don't think a rabbit would get that, but probably birds. Over there, I've got some boysenberries, which are completely delicious, but the birds get them, and it's very hard to net them. So I think I'm giving up this year. I've got to build a sort of cage over that fence line. Difficult. They also grow stupidly, and they got huge spines. Everything is difficult about them. These are the boysenberries with just dandelions coming up between them. So they come out across the ground right up to here where my shadow is, and you're supposed to lift them and then fold them back over the wire again. All very difficult with netting on it, trying to keep the birds off. And I've had one really good one so far, but I think the birds are winning on most of that. How they manage to jump around in there, I do not know, but they do. There's an immature red one, because they go dark purple when they're ripe. There's one getting sort of ripish. This is my vineyard. I've got 8 rows of grapes here, and over there we've got a citrus orchard. We're in a bit of a borderline citrus orchard area, but they're going all right. Looks pretty. When you're planting tomatoes, make sure you put your stakes in at the beginning, then plant the tomatoes at the base of it. If you try to put them in later on, it's too much disturbance to the tomatoes. Much easier to put them in first. These ones here are on big mesh wires, also an easy way to go. This is my wife's garden shed. She loves that. And it's for all the flowers that are down there and will yet to be down there. She's down in the middle of that at the moment, furiously watering all little seedlings. This is her seed raising shed, which I built for her. And it's absolutely full in spring of seedlings, absolutely full to overflowing, and some have to go elsewhere. Now they're all out in the zone now. Some have made their way out into the table here, but most of these are sort of surplus. And she also picks things from around the place and gets cuttings and pushes them on. Like these are figs. And there's a little fig on that one. Fantastic. We just had 14, 15 millimeters of rain over a day and a half, which was fantastic because it's watered everything thoroughly and deeply. This rain, I reckon the zucchinis have grown. They look way bigger. And of course it's excellent for the potatoes and the corn, which sort of need that natural rain to get through them without knocking them over. Really good watering.